director of the whole state association of United Ways. And she was serving in that capacity when COVID hit. And as you probably are aware, the United Ways have been tasked with distributing COVID money, COVID CARES Act money. And so we asked Sue to come today to talk specifically about her role as the director of all the state of Illinois United Way Association and what they're doing with COVID CARES Act money, specifically in our community. So with that, please join me in welcoming Sue Gray.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you all for having me this morning. I did send over a PowerPoint. I don't know if we'll be able to share that or not since we're doing the Facebook Live. Daryl, I'm going to leave that in your very capable hands. Oh, ta-da, there we go. Yes, it has been, if someone had said, hey, the year that you're the chair of the United Ways of Illinois, there's going to be a pandemic, so I just thought I'd let you know. I might have reconsidered that position, but it has been quite extraordinary, actually. We have a network of United Ways that are in every county across the state of Illinois, and so it really is an honor to be able to lead a group of very dedicated individuals that support people all over the state of Illinois. So I'm going to drill down first here and do a little bit about here's how we got to where we are today, kind of thing. So as you can see, right away we launched a joint fund with the Community Foundation where we each contributed $50,000 to get this funding going. We knew that people would be in need, and so it would be incredibly important to make sure that we were prepared for anything that would come our way. We also received, in addition to that, over $500,000 from community members, from gifts as small as $5 to as significant and large as $10,000. All of them incredibly important because when you put them all together, we can do really great things in our community. One of my roles as the chair of the United Way of Illinois was also to serve on the Illinois COVID Relief Fund grant committee that was chaired by Penny Pritzker. When that call initially came in, I'm like, excuse me? Penny Pritzker. Okay, got it. And so served on that committee, and we actually are getting ready to wrap that up by the end of this month, and we will have allocated out close to $31 million throughout the state of Illinois. So locally here, though, we had $1.1 million, which is quite extraordinary on top of everything else that was going on. So Daryl, you can go to the next slide. So here's some things that we have done, and we'll go through these rather quickly, but things here locally that we knew needed addressed: housing assistance, making sure that people could pay their rent, their utilities, mortgage, anything to keep a roof over your head when you're supposed to shelter at home. So that was incredibly important. We gave out home learning supplies. A lot of children didn't have access to the things that they had access to at school. So we worked with our local school districts here in Champaign County and were able to provide some additional assistance. One of our greatest needs was food. And as you can see, that was quite a significant amount of money that went for local food pantries, and in particular, CU Better Together. And look at that number at the bottom, nearly 1 million meals throughout Champaign County and East Central Illinois. One of the benefits of working with Joan Dixon at the Community Foundation is they have a little broader reach than we do county-wise. And so we were in Ford County, Piatt County, McLean County, Coles County, trying to think, Douglas County. We went as far south as Mattoon, Charleston, and Effingham, over to Monticello, up in Ford County, Watseka, Hoopeston. So we really covered a broad range of communities here in East Central Illinois with the work that we were doing. In particular, these are local dollars. So next slide, Daryl. Technology access. This was a bright, shiny light on where we had some major gaps in service. So telehealth, I had a couple actually telehealth appointments during the course of all of this, making sure that people had access to computers. We worked with the Housing Authority, for example, on a very particular program, a group of young men who were signed up to do something in conjunction with the University of Illinois and other programs, and they were to go to a computer lab to be able to do this program. They couldn't do that, so we got them Chromebooks to make sure that they could start and finish this program. The COVID burdened populations, we wanted to make sure people had cleaning supplies, masks. We heard a lot from our home healthcare providers and home visiting nurses that when they knew that people didn't have just basic hygiene supplies and things, we want people to wash their hands and wear a mask. So we made sure that those things were made available and that they could get whatever they needed when they needed. Diapers, and we're going to talk about diapers a little bit later as we talk about things where you all can get involved, but pretty significant impact. We went from distributing through the Bottom Line Diaper Bank about 3,000 or 4,000 diapers a month to nearly 15,000 diapers a month. So it's unbelievable, but it's a very important public health issue. So we'll talk about that in a minute. All right, next one. So cleaning supplies, reopening. We talked with all of our nonprofit partners. What do you need? I don't know about anybody else, but disinfectant wipes probably are being sold on the black market for like a ton of money. It's unbelievable. And I read something yesterday where the CEO from Clorox said it probably wouldn't be until 2021 until they could keep up with production, because the material they use in the disinfectant wipe containers is also used for disposable gowns and face masks. So, and that's a priority as well. So get your paper towels or your handy dandy cloth and your spray, and you can do it that way. Safe shelter, again, a very vulnerable population here and across the country, those who don't have a permanent address. And so working with CU at Home in particular they created a partnership with Champaign Park District to house the gentlemen in the Douglas Recreation Center gym so they could be socially distant, but they could also be monitored every day with health checks, temperature checks, etc. And, out of the elements, that sort of thing. And also working with women from Courage Connection, sheltering them in local hotels, because the current condition where they were at, they were all in like group homes, and that was not something that would work to keep everybody healthy and socially distanced. And so we provided shelter for women at Courage Connection and Austin's Place at Well. And so that was like April, May, and June. We had people all in hotels. It was a significant amount of money that was spent on that. And now we're working on our transition to long-term recovery. So our local fund will sunset here at the end of, the joint fund will end at the end of August. We'll work on distributing the remaining dollars to a variety of different organizations. We're going to do some back to school supplies. We'll be doing some work with, trying to think of where we're at now. Oh, and that childcare and out of school care, which is going to be huge. Now that both school districts they've put their stake in the ground and said we're going to be virtual. Unit 4 for their first quarter, Urbana, we know until at least September 8th, and I would venture to guess maybe longer than that. So we've got to work with providers here in the community. We've been meeting with the Boys and Girls Club, Urbana Neighborhood Connection Center, Muhammad Area Youth Center, the YMCA, anyone and everyone who provides that out-of-school care for kids, to make sure that if they need to expand their programming, add staff, need to rent a space, whatever it is, to be able to help our families, then we're going to provide the funding for that. Next slide. So as you can see, this is a little timeline of things here, and I won't, you can see kind of how we work through this. It caught us all off guard. I mean, none of us have done this before, but the reality is this is what United Ways are built for, that we can be, not only take care of long-term needs, but be responsive in the immediate, you know, right here, right now. You know, I think back to when we helped out with the Gifford tornado, and United Way mobilized right away, and we thought we were kind of hot stuff for raising $100,000, you know, in a couple months. And then when this happened, and you know, how extraordinary is our community, for one thing, that they just were so incredibly, incredibly generous. Next slide, Daryl. And it has been an incredible community effort. The CU Better Together, 20 churches, United Way, the Y, Community Foundation, the school districts, all working together to make sure that children and families were fed, that nobody went without a meal. At the high point of CU Better Together, there in Champaign-Urbana, there were 1,500 meals a week being served to families in need. And so the school districts were providing breakfast and lunch, and then United Way would, and the Community Foundation then provided the funding, and the churches provided the volunteers to pack and then distribute dinners. And so it was really quite a process, and they pulled it together within days to make this all happen. So it's been extraordinary to watch and see our community do such good work. Okay, Daryl, next one. So we continue to move through this. You know, we meet with our executive directors on a regular basis. Something fun that happened, Coach Clark with, he's a men's tennis coach at the U of I, started April 14th, and he said, I'm gonna run a mile a day for 30 days. So he ran 14 miles on the 14th of April, 15 on the 15th, 16, and so on and so forth. He was really excited when May 1st rolled around, by the way, that he only had to run 1 mile that day, but he did. He ran 30 miles. He ran, you know, whatever it took to get it done. And with the other coaches on campus, they supported him in his work, and he generated $14,000 through that effort. It was really awesome. You know, we always want to say thank you, especially to those that are on the front line every day, and you know, that really gave their all during this whole time. And so we spent a day just saying thank you to people. And so you can see that, you know, as we continued through this, we were excited to continue to get those Illinois COVID relief funds here in Champaign County as well. And I think this is the last one, Daryl. So we continue to allocate the dollars. We also, in June, as a part of my membership on that Illinois COVID relief fund, I really advocated hard for funds to come to Champaign County to support our neighbors from other countries, immigrants, refugees, migrants that are all here. And so we were able to help the Refugee Center bring another $200,000 to the community. So, you know, $700 and some thousand to Champaign County just from that Illinois fund, which is great, just to help serve our neighbors and take care of everyone who's here, make sure that, you know, no one goes without just the basic needs. So, and as I mentioned, we'll work towards finishing up allocating the funds, this joint fund, out into the community by the end of August. And so with that, there's a couple of things that, you know, you were looking for some ideas of things to possibly do. And I would say that there's a couple of things. So diapers, let's talk about that. United Way coordinates the bottom line diaper bank, and the number of diapers has just increased exponentially. We need clean baby bottoms. I mean, it's just a health issue for these little people, and diapers are expensive. They can run anywhere, you know, between $70 and $80 a month. And if you're already on a limited budget, that's a big expense. And our numbers have increased. So like I said, we usually give out about 4,000 a month. We're up to roughly anywhere between 14 and 16,000 a month. And so we just did a diaper drive. Our emerging community leaders did a diaper drive, collected 20,000 diapers, which was pretty cool. On a very hot weekend, I might add. It was like 98 that Sunday afternoon they were working. And so we need to repack those diapers. So if any of you know Salvo Rodriguez on my team here, he coordinates that on our behalf. And we do the repacks at the public health building in the basement, which is where they're all stored. So all of those diapers have to be put in packs of 30. It takes a while to do 20,000 diapers. So that's a potential volunteer opportunity for the group if you're interested. And then another opportunity coming up here in the near future, we are part of this last phase is purchasing school supplies for kids. And probably, I don't know, I think we'll provide supplies for somewhere around, I want to say around 4,000 kids potentially. And the reason we're doing this is because if they're doing remote learning and school learning at some point, it would be ideal if they would have learning kits for at home and those for at school, so they can keep them separate. And so once things are purchased, and in particular, this is for Champaign School District, I think there's like 2,700 kits that they're trying to put together. And again, that would take some volunteer work to get that done. And so on my staff, Beverly Baker would be a contact for that, or Amy Huang. So we are happy to help connect you with some opportunities if you're interested. So here we are, trying to just keep people up and running. I will say the nonprofit sector has never stopped. They've been so flexible, so creative in their service delivery. Many are using telehealth, anything, any way to connect via technology, counseling services, home visits, any one of those things. And so it's been challenging to say the least. We miss the connection with our people that we work with on a daily basis, but I can say I'm incredibly proud of their dedication and commitment to take care of people here in Champaign County and deliver services. They've just done a wonderful job. So, and thank you for having me today. And I can have time for a couple of questions, and then I have to go have some bacon and eggs with my board chair.
Sue, you've talked a lot about what United Way specifically has done, and I know you're a member of Champaign Rotary, and I'm just wondering what they've done for local COVID relief.
So there is a Rotary fund. I think it's about $36,000, and that was collected from various Rotaries here in the area. And the school supplies that we will be purchasing will come from that Rotary fund. And so if that's why we're asking Rotarians to help volunteer and pack those school supplies. So there is, I believe, Carol Timms from Champaign Rotary and Ellen Schmidt from West, and myself and Joan Dixon will be connecting with people here in the near future with regard to that.
Thank you.
Hey, Sue.
Hey, Rob.
So what's your sense on the impact of organizations with the tax law change a couple of years ago? Have you seen a drop in contributions locally to the United Way and others?
We have not actually. Individual givers, for example, you know, our pillars, those that do the $500 and above gifts, our retention rate is off the charts. It's at like 96%, and which is phenomenal in development world. Our campaign itself didn't really feel too much. To be honest, we were, the first year we thought, oh, let's see what happens. And even United Way Worldwide, which is our overarching organization, our parent organization, said, you know, you should prepare for at least 5% reduction. And we didn't really see that. And I give credit to the people here in Champaign County for, you know, putting their faith and trust in us to do that. But they just get it, you know, that it's so important if I'm able to make a contribution. I think the other thing too, Rob, with United Way is that with that payroll deduction, it just makes it so easy to make that happen. And so we didn't really see a significant drop. There was, in certain organizations where there was a higher percentage of maybe those workers in that 25 to 35 range, I think we had a drop off there. That was probably the group that rethought that maybe a little bit, but overall it hasn't been too bad.
Sue, can I ask a couple things? You pointed out that we're having a lot of problems with technology of getting, you know, an internet connection for folks that don't have internet. What are the solutions for that going forward? So if we're going to be doing, you know, online classes for the kids, how are they getting to those internet connections?
So here's something really cool that happened. And Rob, you might know about this with the MTD buses that have Wi-Fi, and the university has specific buses that have Wi-Fi in them. So they went to various parts of the cities here in Champaign and Urbana and would take the buses there and leave them, and it created a hotspot. So then neighborhoods that didn't have great access to Wi-Fi could, and they could use their Chromebooks, and you know, the university was also a part of that. And so it was really cool to see that happen. Like, of course we do that in Champaign, Urbana, of course we do. And you know, our community partners step up and make that happen. So I thought that was awesome. And every school district has access to the Chromebooks to get to their kids. They have funds to be able to do that. So that was not a concern with the equipment, it was the connection.
Mm-hmm. So does that sound like it's going to be going on then through the fall as well then?
Yeah, they're going to have to. They're either going to have to purchase hotspots. I think they'll continue to work with MTD and the university on this to see what they can do. It will be essential that this happens. And I'm pretty sure, I know it was the university, and I would assume since it was buses, it was the MTD, because that's the only game in town, right? And so, and I just love the creativity and the innovation there. Like, oh, hey, the students aren't here at the university, let's do this. I'm like, okay, it's pretty cool.
Can I ask another question about the Better Together, CU Better Together? You said you're winding down, but aren't they still going to need those services going forward?
Well, we're going to have to talk about that. We still have some funds left in that CU Better Together pot, I guess, as you would call it. And, you know, it's been, Vineyard Church and Stone Creek Church have just done an inordinate amount of work to support this. And, you know, they need to get back to business as usual as well. And so this was a huge undertaking for them, tremendous amount of support. So I'm sure we'll pull that steering committee together again here now that both school districts here locally have said this is what we're doing for sure, and come up with a plan to how do we want to utilize the remaining funds that's in that fund, and continue to support the families if needed. Again, they'll have to the school districts will cover lunch and breakfast, I'm assuming. And then what do we do moving forward? We do know that people are now getting back to work. And, the food bank's been a great partner. We're thinking about expanding the school food pantries so families can come and get what they need at school districts, at the school buildings. Several of our schools have a food pantry in them. So yet to be determined, but it's in the works.
Can I ask one more question about childcare? What are you guys doing about the whole childcare issue then?
Well, if I had an answer to that, Mary, it'd be awesome. Just trying to find out what's available. I mean, we can, school-age kids, I think there's several things in the works. I think park districts and school districts are working together to do some distance learning, like venues where kids whose parents need to work could go and be socially distanced, have access to technology. They'll have their Chromebooks, but they would have the internet access, maybe in a gym in Urbana or Champaign that the park districts aren't using. I have no idea exactly how that's rolling out, but I know they're all in conversation right now. A bigger concern are those 0 to 5 that are not connected to a school, and they've cut down the capacity in childcare centers. And so finding out exactly how many slots are available, and there's an organization called the Child Care Resource Service. And so working with them to get information out to employers and just to the community about what's available. But it's gonna be a struggle. I mean, there's no getting around it for these younger families that have 2 working parents and have young, infants and toddlers. And I think it's not unique to Champaign County. I mean, this is going on across the country. So we're going to have to put our thinking caps on and come up with something.
Other questions out there? I am so impressed with all the stuff you're doing. That is wonderful. Didn't know half of it. Thank you so much for joining us. That's wonderful. Let's give her a hand.
Thanks for having me, everybody. Good morning to all of you on this glorious day. It is just gorgeous. So,
Thank you, Sue.
and Mary, and I'll be in touch with some emails, addresses to connect on various volunteer topics. And if something else comes up, we might just throw it in that email as well, just in case you guys are looking for stuff to do. So.
That's perfect. We really appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you. Keep us informed.
All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
We'll see you later.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let me go ahead and we can close this meeting down then, if you can give me just a second. And as I said, we were going to have Eddie lead us for the 4-way test.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
You're muted. Unmute.
Okay. It's early. I have a couple more cups of coffee. I'll be good. All right. The 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth?
The truth.
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better
friendships?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And is it fun?
Fun.
All right. And that's the whole key. Is it fun?
You betcha.
So hopefully, if there's folks out there watching on Facebook, I hope you enjoyed Sue's presentation today. If you want to know more about CU Sunrise, please send us an email at CU Sunrise Rotary Club at Gmail. We're on Gmail.
Our speaker next week will be from the League of Women Voters.
Oh, awesome.
Oh,
perfect.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you. So definitely join us for that. If that, no other comments?
Bing.
Here, have a good day, everybody.
Good job.
Happy Thursday.
Y'all. Thanks.
Rest of your week, everyone. Have a great week.